a crisp morning in February 2013. A teenager from northern China wakes up to fervent rapping on his door. Let's call him Doug. Doug is in his final year of high school.
So previous night, me and my parents will have a pretty big fight.
They'd had the same fight a million times already, about what university Doug was going to go to and what career option he was going to pursue, about why he was more interested in drumming than in studying. It was heated, and everyone went to bed angry. But even when Doug's parents are angry, they don't ever knock this way. Blurry-eyed, he opens the door and sees two strange men dressed in ordinary clothes.
They claim they are police. They're saying, okay, do you know this person? Blah, 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 which is a name I never heard of. He said he's in trouble. He got picked up yesterday. And he said, you are his culprit, like a partner in crimes. And they said I was required to go with them to assist in some investigation.
Doug has no idea what they're talking about. He's starting to panic a little because he's used a VPN to access YouTube to watch drumming tutorials. They take him to their car. Doug is surprised they're driving a regular Jeep, not an official police car. The men explain that they did this on purpose to save him the embarrassment of being seen being taken away by the police. So Doug gets in the car. But when they start driving, they go right past the local police station. 30 minutes later, in another part of the city, they pull into an enclosed compound with a tall green gate. Doug has the sinking feeling that the men were lying. They aren't police at all. He feels he won't leave this compound for quite a while. For the first time this morning, Doug is right. He just arrived at Jinan Hongkai Education and Training School. It's a special place for kids with behavioral problems, one of many across the country, each with their own ever more cruel practices to force teenagers into obedience. What exactly is happening at these schools? How are they allowed to exist? And what does World of Warcraft have to do with it? China in the early aughts. A windowless room underground, dark except for the flickering of screens. It smells like cigarettes, instant noodles, and teenage boys. Keyboards clack, computers whir. There's occasional yelling, but nobody's arguing. Everyone is in their own world. For many across the country, this place, the Internet Cafe or Wangba, is home away from home. As the country grows wealthier, internet usage increases dramatically, especially among the young. Teenagers spend more and more time in 24-hour Wangba, and their parents, who were raised before the country's tech revolution, just don't get the appeal. How could their kids be more interested in World of Warcraft than getting ahead in school, playing sports, and even dating? Parents are growing seriously worried. China is an increasingly competitive society. Many see good grades as the only ticket to a successful future, and the internet makes more and more negative headlines in the country. Teenagers setting a deadly fire to an internet cafe for being denied entry. Teens apparently dying of exhaustion after 20-hour sessions. A moral panic over the dangers of the internet is emerging. In 2005, a Beijing judge states that over 90% of crimes committed by under-18s were because of the internet. A pretty wild guess, considering that at that point only 10% of the nation is even online. By 2006, the Central Committee of the Communist Youth League proclaims that internet addiction is a severe social problem that could threaten the nation's future. The government claims that internet addiction is now the #1 public health threat to its teenage population. Something must be done. Now that it's not 2006, we're all aware that knowing your way around a computer won't hurt your career prospects. And the internet offers countless ways to learn new skills. One platform we can recommend in particular is Brilliant. With the app, you can get your feet wet with the basics of programming and learn how to think and code, then start coding creatively and finally master Python. Or if coding is not your thing, there are countless other subjects to explore. We personally love the app and use it on the go all the time. Brilliant's thousands of lessons are The government tries implementing controls that kick kids off of games when they've played too long. But teenagers are crafty and can often find ways around restrictions. A bigger, more comprehensive approach is needed. In 2008, internet addiction, or Wang Yin, officially becomes a clinical disorder. For years, China was the only country to pathologize internet usage in this way. The official consequences of this disorder are listed as a loss of control over time spent online, a lack of friends, bad grades, and eventually murder or suicide. But in practice, its status as a disorder doesn't mean it's diagnosed with much scientific rigor. Internet addiction is not measured by the hard number of hours kids spend online, for example. Symptoms like depression, fainting, and anorexia are all enough to get a kid a diagnosis. If your parents don't like who you're dating, you too could be diagnosed as an internet addict. Really, anything socially undesirable might fall under the internet addiction umbrella. In this climate, the state-run broadcaster CCTV releases a bombshell documentary, Fighting the Internet Demon: Who Turned Our Geniuses into Beasts.